and welcome to this informative session for CaixaImpulse 2026. I will start introducing my colleagues, Jordi Vallès and Cristina Estevez, and myself, Alex Esteban. We are the managers of the CaixaImpulse program and will be participating throughout the entire session.
Okay.
We'll first start with sharing with some recommendations on how the session is going to be working, and so that we can try to make this session go smoothly. So we please ask you to mute your microphones, please. Thank you very much. So these recommendations, as I was saying, are intended to make the session go smoothly. First of all, as I was saying before, please keep your microphones muted during the entire presentation, so that we can prevent this background noise. After we deliver the presentation, we'll start a questions and answers session, so that you can ask any doubts or ask for any clarifications about the content of the presentation or the call. For that, we'll please ask you, if you have the need to ask a question, to click on the raise hand icon on the bottom menu on your screen. So it's under the reactions tab. When it's your turn and we give you the floor, you will receive an invitation and we'll call you by your name. So that's why we please ask you to write down your name and last name so that we can call you by your name when it's your turn, once you raise your hand. Also, please, when you are informed that it's your turn to ask your question, please connect your microphone and camera so we can see you and have a direct conversation. Also, please pay attention to the presentation so that we don't have to repeat questions over and over or other questions that have been asked beforehand. Another thing to take into account is that please do not use the chat tool for questions. You will have the chance when we finish the presentation to ask us directly any question that you may have, but the chat tool has to be used only for technical issues. All right. In any case, you have more questions, or you have questions once the session has finished. You can always reach us through our email address. You have displayed here on this slide the contact email address of the program, or you can also access our website at caixaresearch.org, where you have all the information about the call. You will have not only the rules for participation, but also video tutorial, guidelines for submission, for the evaluation process. Also, there's a frequent ask questions session, and you will also find a template of the application form. So you don't even need to access the application platform to understand, to explore the different sections of the form. You can download this template and you will have all the sections and all the information that it's required to present an application. So we'll start now the presentation. The program was launched for the first time in 2015. So this is the 12th edition of the program. You can see some numbers here of the history of the program. So we have been supporting around 263 projects so far. We have provided to them almost 29 million euros in financial support. And besides this financial support, we have been also providing some mentorship and expert advice and training hours, as you can see here. We don't only provide financial support, but also what we call an accompaniment program for all these services. 54 out of these 263 projects have incorporated spin-offs, and these companies by themselves have been able to raise more than 180 million euros for further activities to try to get closer to the market and to commercialization. Okay. At this point, we'd like to highlight that once you participate in the program, the projects participating are not obliged to incorporate a company. So it's not compulsory in the program. So in the program, there's total freedom for any participant to decide the best business model that fits with the assets that they are developing to try to reach the market. Okay? We just give this number because it's one of the outputs that we collect to understand the impact of the program. This is the landscape of these incorporated companies. As you can see here, there are like 54 companies. Again, you can see that there are some from Portugal and some from Spain. Since the scope of the program is Iberian, it's the entire Iberian ecosystem. That means that any project coming from any research institution, university, or hospital from Spain or Portugal is eligible to submit an application. And there are like different scientific thematic areas. But what is important to stress out here is that we have four main business areas. So the projects, to be eligible, they have to come from one of these four main business areas. These areas are medical devices, diagnostics, digital health, or therapeutics. Okay? As long as the project fits one of these business areas and it's focused on biomedical innovation and focused on human health, the project will be eligible. This is where the program focuses on this valley of death. We assume that you must be familiarized with this graph. Basically, this is the itinerary that a project has to follow, and an asset, a result has to follow from the academia to reach the market, to be commercialized and reach the patients. On the left-hand side of this graph, you can see that there are like research resources. So that means that when a project is located in the academia, you may have access to public and competitive calls or competitive resources. But as the asset is maturing and advancing and getting closer to the right-hand side to commercialization, you may need another type of resources coming from private actors or stakeholders in the ecosystem. So as you can see here, so this itinerary is complex, is very difficult to follow, and sometimes many projects fail because they don't have enough support or resources to keep advancing to reach this final milestone, which is the commercialization of the asset. As you can see here, the CaixaImpulse program is focused on these early stage projects. It's close to these research resources and to academia, and the idea is to try to build a bridge to work side by side with the projects, so that from the academia, they have enough resources, tools, financial support, and knowledge, so that after the program, the project is mature enough, or the asset is mature enough, so the project can start talking to other stakeholders in the ecosystem to get other or additional financial support or other types of support to keep advancing. As you can see here, the program is divided in 3 stages, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes. We run this program in collaboration with 2 main entities. One of them is Criteria Bioventures, which is the capital venture firm of La Caixa Group. They work as evaluators. They also participate in the training program as lecturers, and they also provide guidance and mentorship to projects that are in the program. So they can also provide their know-how as investors in the program, the projects that are participating. A part of this collaboration, we also have a collaboration with the government of Portugal through the FCT. And what they do is they finance 2 additional projects that are coming from Portuguese institutions. And what we do is we have the final selection of projects with a list of participants, and they propose 2 additional projects that are below the threshold for selection, and they provide them with financial support in the stage 1 of the program. As I was mentioning before, the program is divided in 3 different stages. And this is very important because when you prepare an application on the application platform, you have to pick or choose the specific stage that you are applying for. For example, if you're applying for stage 1, this is more focused on projects that are in very early stages of development, and they are like seeking to generate proof of concept of the idea of the results that they have in the laboratory, and they can apply for a maximum amount of financial support of 50,000 euros. If you are applying to stage 2, this stage is more focused on validation, on designing and development of prototypes, or even getting deeper into the intellectual property of the asset. And in this case, you can apply for a maximum of 150,000 euros. And in stage 3, this case is for more mature projects that are closer to, for example, like preclinical validation, or they are preparing a regulatory roadmap, or they are preparing a business plan. So there are projects that are closer to like getting the kinds of support of the investments. In this case, these projects, they can apply to a maximum of 500,000 euros, or 500,000. It's important to highlight that once a project is selected and it's inside the program, if the project achieves all the proposed milestones, they can undergo a checkpoint evaluation inside the program, and that allows them to keep advancing to further stages. So, for example, if a project gets into the program through the stage 1 phase, if the project has results with enough potential to keep advancing, and it has a positive review from the evaluation, this internal evaluation, the project can advance to stage 2 and so on, and then from stage 2 to stage 3. So that means that a project from stage 1, if the project keeps advancing, can get a maximum amount of 700,000 euros and get the support of the program and La Caixa Foundation for around 5 years. Okay. The duration of time for each stage is different as well. So for stage 1, the duration of the process has to be a maximum of 1 year. For stage 2 is 2 years, and for stage 3 is 3 years. Okay, so that's why we are talking about 5 years in total if the project starts in stage 1 and keeps advancing to stage 3. Besides this financial support, as I was mentioning before, we also provide this accompaniment program that includes a training program, very specialized training program, which is compulsory for stage 2 projects. So if you are selected as a stage 2, you are obliged to come to this training program where you can learn some specific concepts of innovation and prepare some deliverables. If you are selected in stage 1 or 3, then the participation in the program, in this specific training program, is optional. Besides the training program, all the projects, regardless of the stage, have access to a mentor that is assigned to each project depending on the background of the project and the expertise of this expert, and also consultancy services that we'll explain with more detail a bit later in the presentation. Something that it's very important to stress out as well is that we finance academic projects coming from these research institutions, from non-profit institutions that can be, as I was saying before, research institutions, hospitals, or universities. We don't finance companies. So if you have incorporated already a spin-off, your project won't be eligible, because we only finance non-profit institutions. And it's important also to mention that you can present your project as a single entity or a single group or in consortia. So you can present your project with other partners from other entities that in this case must be also non-for-profit institutions. Okay, so if you have partners in your consortium, they cannot be for-profit institutions or companies. So going deeper into this eligibility criteria, as I was saying before, we only accept as eligible entities to be beneficiaries of the grant non-profit institutions from Spain and Portugal. Besides these non-profit institutions, they must have some ownership of the assets. So they must have contributed somehow in the generation of the results, and they have ownership. If the beneficiary institution or the applicant institution has is a non-for-profit institution but has no rights or ownership over the results, that entity is not eligible. Okay, so the entity or the applicant institution, to be a beneficial institution, they must have some ownership of on the results. If your project has participated in previous editions of CaixaImpulse Validate, so we are talking about 2022 on backwards, your project is eligible to submit an application, but in this case, you must only apply to stage 3. Okay, your project won't be eligible for stage 1 or stage 2 phases of the program. As I was saying just a few minutes ago, again, consortia are eligible, but these partners that are composing the consortia have to be non-for-profit institutions as well. We accept partners from Portugal and Spain, but also from other countries outside Spain and Portugal. In this case, it's important to mention that there's a limitation in the financial support that can receive. So there's a limitation of 30% of the total budget that can receive these entities if they are from outside Spain and Portugal. And finally, as I was explaining in the previous slide, we don't finance spin-offs, so they are not eligible. But these academic projects, once they are selected, and we have signed a project agreement with their entities, and they are participating in the program, these projects, once in the program, they are entitled to incorporate the spin-offs. Then if they are in the framework on the program and we have signed a project agreement with the entity, then it's possible and it's something that we can approve inside the program. And the only thing is that this company, once it's incorporated, will become what we call a linked third party of the project, and will keep our direct contact with a non-for-profit institution, which is the beneficiary institution that applied to the program. So all the payments and all our relationship, direct relationship, will be still with the non-for-profit institution. But then with the linked third party, which will be the incorporated company, the non-for-profit institution can decide to forward funds or activities to the company in the framework of the program. Okay, so the activities can be distributed within the research institution and the company, and even the funds, even given the fact that the La Caixa Foundation will give the funds to the research institution, the research institution can decide to forward this money or part of this money to the company for these specific activities in the framework of the company. I will stop here and I will give the floor to my colleague Jordi, who will explain more details about the application process and the evaluation phases. So please, Jordi, when you're ready.
Okay, thank you, Alex. Can you please mute your microphone? Yeah, thank you. So we are now going deeper in the application process. As this slide is especially important because it's quite complex. So for those of you that are applying for second time or third, there has been no major changes on that. But I will just go of what you require to apply in this 26 call. All the proposals has to have at least an organization manager and a project leader. As the applicant institution that is the host of the project has to authorize the submission of the proposal, an organization manager has to be correctly registered in our system. Then is the project leader, we call it PL normally, that opens and submits the proposal. As Alex was mentioning, these projects can be single, just handled by a single institution or consortium. When they are consortium, that is up to 5 institutions, so it would be the applicant institution and 4 the additional institutions. That has to be a project leader from each institution that we call normally principal investigator, that is accepting the participation as an investigator and representing the institution. All these investigators has to be invited directly by the project leader of the applicant institution. This is a specific mechanism that you could use, an invitation mode that you can use during the application. In the same way, these partners and all the consortium are those that will be developing the project. But when the asset that is defined in the proposal, so we define the asset as those results or intellectual property rights that you have as a starting point of your proposal. Then when this asset is owned by more than one institution, because the results has been done in collaboration with different institutions, we need also these co-owners of the asset to accept the participation of the project. Then again, it's the project leader who is inviting the co-owners of the asset to participate in the project. So when an asset has more than one co-owner, it has to be not only the investigators of the proposal, but also the organization managers of all the institutions that are owning the asset, accepting the participation. So it's different roles. You have to see partners normally are researchers, co-owners of the asset normally are organization managers of institutions. As you can see, this process can be quite complex, so please do not wait until the end of the time you have until the deadline of our call to prepare this proposal, because all this register and authorization of entities has to be revised by our team, and it requires some time. So please make it in advance. One of the important thing of the co-owners of the asset is that at least the 50%, half of the ownership, has to be held by non-for-profit institution. That means that if in a collaboration with a for-profit company, you have developed an asset, it can be eligible if this company has less than 50% of the total ownership of this asset. Okay, so please next. So when you are facing to decide if your project is eligible for stage 1, stage 2, or stage 3, you'll find that in our sample form and during the process, there's this guideline to decide if your project fits better in one or other stage. I will not be going into all the details that you will have here, but as you can see, there's more and more business-oriented information that we are needing when you're going to stage 2 and then to stage 3. Main idea is that stage 1 is for a first proof of concept. So normally experimental process that helps to understand if your idea can be carried out and if you will be able to have intellectual property on these results. Stage 2, together with the training, helps this proof of concept to go further, to generate robust intellectual property, and to decide on the valorization plan to go further in the development, not only of the experimental part, but also on the exploitation routes or roadmap to commercialization. And obviously, stage 3 is to prepare to be investable or to be ready to be licensed to other companies. So especially regulatory requirements and production and all market analysis and competitors are more important at this stage. I will really advise you to read these guidelines to decide what would be the best fit for your project, and download this sample form that you will find in our website. Please next. So going to some new things in our process, we are incorporating different artificial intelligence tools. You'll see that there are two main tools that you can use. Probably you have been using also this chatbot that is available during all the process, just to ask about any kind of information that are in our rules for participation or guidelines for applicants. And then there's also a writing assistant tool that you can use if it's useful for you during the preparation of the proposal. You will see that it will be only available when you start the proposals and when you go from pre-draft to draft. So mainly you need to write the title and the brief summary of your proposal, and then the following boxes can be assisted by this tool. Obviously, it's only propositive, so you can use the changes that this tool is providing or not. Okay, so next, please. Going to the definition of the proposal, another really important point is the selection of the keywords. So it means the business area and the scientific areas. So this is the main information that we will be using to select the reviewers of your proposal. So please take it seriously when you are defining the business area. So if your project is therapeutics, diagnostics, or digital health, also I said digital health, diagnostics and therapeutics. Yeah, medtech. It was the other one. Sorry. So you'll see that when this business area is selected, then you can select the scientific area and sub area. It's mandatory to select from 2 to 4 sub areas. So when you select the scientific area, then you will access to the sub areas. Please select at least from 2 to 4 sub areas from the list that you will see in this figure 1. Is just an example of the detail we are asking you to select. Yeah, please, next. This is just a summary of the selection process. The process of selection is quite regular, so you'll see that there's a single entry for all the stages through the platform that some of you are already been using these days. We will then assign these evaluators using this information in your proposal, so mainly the keywords I was mentioning in the previous slide. And this preselection will be run by 3 experts that will be providing a numeric score that is normally normalized. And then if there's any kind of discrepancy on the scores that these 3 are providing, we can also send the project to a 4th evaluator. We rely mainly on international experts, some Spanish and Portuguese too, and there's a minimum of 40% women evaluators in our pool. Those projects that receive the higher score in this preselection process are then invited to an interview in front of evaluation committees. There are panels of 4 to 8 experts that we will having this face-to-face interview with the team and providing a qualitative score. Mainly it's a go, no go. These interviews will be done online for stage 1 and in person here in Barcelona for stage 2 and 3. Again, it would be Spanish, Portuguese, and international experts, and we always try to have at least 40% women as evaluators. The selection criteria is maintained from previous calls, so you'll see that we are asking information in your forms about the asset, the need, the team, the implementation, so the plan that you have, and the social dimension and feasibility. And this is the same that we ask the evaluators to take into account. But you will see that the form in stage 1, 2, and 3 are expanding in the amount of information and detail that we are asking for each of these criteria. So it's like a telescopic form we call normally. So the weight of each of these criteria is also weighted differently between different stages. So having more important the implementation part, for example, in the stage 3, and the asset and the need is more important in stage 1. Okay, please, next. So this just going to funding. Alex has previously mentioned about the amount of money that you will be receiving if you are selected in each stage. So 50K, 150K, and $500,000 in the different stages. Also has been mentioned about this possibility to progress to more advanced stages with more funding using this special track directly to the evaluation committee. The important thing is that the stage 2 and stage 3 will have a clause in our agreement of financial return. So that means that if your project is really successful, what we really are waiting for, and you are exploring this asset the way that your institution is receiving an important financial return, we are entitled to ask for the return of the grant in the future. And again, if you are setting up a company at the moment of constitution, we can ask for a 1% of equity that will be held by the criteria group. It's the group of La Caixa. Going to the payment, so I think it's too much detail for this session probably, but you will see what we are paying an initial payment just at the beginning after signing the agreement with those that are selected, and then there's different milestones for different statements of payment. For example, stage 1 have 3 different payments. Stage 2 is probably different in that. So there's a specific payment after the participation in the training. That's because in the training there's different deliverables that we ask the participants to provide, and we provide feedback on these deliverables. When at the end of the training we are receiving what we call valorization plan. So it would be your roadmap to develop your project. Then there's a specific payment to go forward. And stage 3 is more personalized. So we define specific milestones for the development of the project, and we also define the percentage of payment that has to be executed at each milestone. Okay, next, please. Besides the economical part, you'll see that there's also non-economic support. This is an important part in the post-award of our program. We are providing this training that has been mentioned several times during this session. It would be 4 different weeks, normally spared in 4 different months at the end of the year. Between Barcelona and Madrid, that is mandatory for stage 2, and optional. Some sessions are specifically defined for projects in stage 1 and stage 3 to participate if they are interested in doing so. And then we have also mentoring. We have now more than 20 mentors that are internationally recognized experts with this strategic vision in innovation. We normally match the thematic of the project with the mentors in our program. And this is the figure that will be helping you through all the process of your project to take decisions on how to develop your project. And on top of that, we have a wide expert network now with more than 600 experts that can provide you specific advice in different areas of the development of your project, from intellectual property to regulatory assessment or quality and production and so on, even legal advice. And we are also proposing some networking activities just to contact with the CaixaImpulse network, previous awardees, and also our own team here at La Caixa, because we really would like to be also part of your journey and help you and support you during all this process. You have our contact, this info @contact lacaixafoundation.org, fundacionlacaixa.org, and also our website. We will be pleased to help you with any doubt that you have during the process. Next, please. This just is a sum up of what has been explained in this session, just in a timeline. As you know, we are now in January, so we will be closing our call in the 19th of February. It would be at 2:00 Central European time. So this is important for the Portuguese people here. So, yep. Can you please mute? Yeah, thank you. Then will the pre-selection process start, and we will be having the panel selection, so the interviews, in the 16th of June for the stage 1, that will be online, and between the 18th and 19th of June here in Barcelona for stage 2 and 3. We will be communicating the results of the selection process in July, and the training program will be starting in September. With this, we can just move to the next one, but remember the deadline. Please take into consideration what I've been doing, what I've been highlighting at the beginning of my part. Please, the registration and the process of invitation of partners is something that you need to do in advance, and we will be really happy to assist you with questions and answers now. And so I pass the floor to Cristina, and we can start with that. Thank you. Cristina, you're muted.
Sorry. Thank you very much, Alex and Jordi, for all the details about the call. We will now begin the question and answer session. To ask a question, you need to click raise hand icon in the bottom menu and turn on the camera. Please wait for the moderator's invitation and ensure your full name is visible. And when given the floor, turn on your microphone before asking your question. You will find the instructions in the chat too. Let's move on to the first question. Please, Carlos Palo Nieto, it's your turn and you may ask your question. No? So please, Martina Filipsa, it's your turn and you may ask your question, please.
Hello, thank you very much for the presentation. I just have a quick question about the training. Who is this training addressed to? The PI, the whole team, or a selected person from the team?
So we recommend that the person coming to the training program is the project leader of the initiative that is participating in the program. But we are very flexible. So we allow a maximum of 3 people per team. So if there's a project leader or a principal investigator that wants to come along with some other members of their team or their institution, they're welcome to come, up to 3 people. And in case that the project leader, for some reason, there are some sessions that cannot attend because there are other commitments, at least what we need is that there's at least one person from that project that is acting on behalf of the project and can defend the project throughout the different activities that are developed in the training program.
I see. Okay, thank you.
So mainly the project leader, but if it's not possible, we can accept another person. But at least there's this need to have one person on behalf of the project at all time.
Great. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Thank you, Martina. Daniela, Pedro, the floor is yours. Please go ahead with your question.
Hello, good morning. Thank you for the presentation. I have a question regarding the PI. So in our case, this is a consortium, so it's one Portuguese and one Spanish university, and the PI of the assets is divided 50% for each. And then on each institution, 25% is for the institution, and the other 25 are divided between the investigators, the researchers. And in our case, there's one researcher from the Portuguese institution that was involved in developing the asset that is no longer with that institution. So she's now on some other university. And so she's not joining the project team for this call. Is that a problem? Should she be on the team? She will, of course, maintain PI. She's just not going to be an active researcher on this part of the project.
Yeah, thank you, Daniela. So that's why we have this differentiation between co-owners of the asset and partners. So there's no need that the co-owners of the asset are participating and as partners developing the project. And we normally say that the co-owner of the asset is an organization because this is what normally happens in Spain and Portugal. But if there's a specific person that owns has ownership, it can also be included. Normally, it's not that way. I don't know. I would encourage you to ask that to your organizations because it's different, the ownership, than the split of the potential benefits at the end. But yeah, the point is that if they are not participating as partners, there's no problem at all.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Daniela. Jose Borrell, please present with your question.
Okay, thank you very much for the presentation. Let me describe our situation. We are probably going to apply for stage 3, but the truth is that not before the deadline, not before the 19th of February, but probably before July, we are going to create our spin-off. Okay, so we don't know if we can participate or not, because certainly the asset is nowadays is co-owned between our university and a private company, but the 51 to 49, so in this case is correct. But in the moment that we create the spin-off, I have read that it's necessary to communicate and so, but are we eligible or not, taking into account this situation?
So thank you for your question. The main limitation here is that we need at least to have signed the project agreement with your institution before you incorporate the company.
But not create the company. We can create the company.
Well, in some cases, you can create the company and not transfer the asset. So there are two scenarios here. So you can just wait to incorporate the company until you are selected. And then we have signed a project agreement with your institution. In that case, that company becomes a linked party of the project, and there's no problem, there's no legal problem at all. And the second scenario is that, okay, we're in a rush, we need to incorporate the company for some reason. We create the company, but we don't transfer the asset. As long as the asset is still in the framework of the research institution, the non-profit institution, the project is eligible.
Okay.
What happens in this situation? Since this company was created before signing the project agreement, won't be considered linked third party in any moment during the participation of the project in the program. So from the very first minute that this asset is transferred to the company, we'll stop our support from the program to the project.
Okay.
So for example, if you apply for 2 years and that happens during the first 6 months of your participation of the project, we'll be able only to provide our financial and non-financial support for those 6 months. And once you transfer the asset, the project is not eligible anymore because that company cannot become a linked third party because it was incorporated before signing the project agreement.
Okay.
Okay. So as Jordi was mentioning, we'll communicate the results by mid-July, even earlier if it's possible. So we start immediately with the signing of the project agreement. So it's something that's quite straightforward. So we have like a short legal review with your institution, and then from our side we try to as possible.
So you mean in one word that we have to wait for the creation of the company until July? That's
For the project to be eligible, that would be our recommendation. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you, Jose. Please, MIDCs, could you ask your question?
Yes, hello, and thank you for the presentation and this time with you. My question is really related with the previous one because it's about the spin-off. If I understand correctly, if we have already the spin-off and we asset transfer to this company, we cannot include the company in the proposal, but we can give some activities if the project is approved, no? After the approval of the project, with the fund of the non-profit organization to pay these activities.
No, hi, Emma. No, this is not exactly correct. So if the asset has been transferred to any for-profit institution,
Yes.
the project is not eligible in our code. So the only way you can have your spin-off and participate in the project is that the company is incorporated within the program. So after being selected. So if you have already
signing the agreement, no?
Yeah. So if you have already set up the company and transferred the asset, this is unfortunately is not eligible.
Okay, thank you for your answer.
Thank you very much, Gemma. Joanna Costa, the floor is yours. Please go ahead with your question.
Hello, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much for this presentation. I would just like to put you two questions. Regarding the business area for digital health, would a project that intends to develop a system, so the asset will be like an IT system using artificial intelligence tools, but the application will be for the improvement of the healthcare system, so processes within the healthcare system, national healthcare systems. Would this be seen as an eligible project for this business area?
The answer is yes, it's eligible. And we have supported projects like that in the program. Yeah, with that specific focus, yes.
Great. Now, just another question regarding the projects to be submitted under stage 2. So in the block 2 of the application form, so when we are describing the need for the asset and for the development of the project, the section for the identification and the involvement of different stakeholders. So in here, the idea is not to already have contacted, for example, some patient associations or even national authorities in the healthcare policy to include them as partners, collaborators without budget, because they are not going to implement any kind of activity of the project. But that's not possible within the consortium format, right?
No.
Okay.
If you're working with the Gantt tool of the application form, that the system has this specific limitation that only accepts to include partners that are real partners, have the role of
partners. They are going to implement also the project.
The rest of collaborators, even if they have like a close relationship with the project and they will be clearly involved, they can be incorporated as you were mentioning, as collaborators in some of the sections in the implementation section.
Not formally as the consultant.
Not formally, because actually the tool will ask you, it will have like a drop-down menu where it will list the partners that you have introduced in your application. So it won't allow you to include any other member of the project that is not a partner itself with that specific role. Yeah.
Okay. It will be descriptive, let's say. Just one final quick question.
Yeah.
So we intend, so in the Lisbon School of Medicine at University of Lisbon at the moment, we are preparing 3 applications, and one of them we are not sure to which stage we should apply for, because we do have the IPR status. We have already filed the patent, so we have the PCT application, but we are not sure if it still should go into 1 or 2, or is it possible to get some advice providing a little bit of more details on the actual IPR status of this project before the submission? So either contacting the general email for the support of this call, or would you give a person of contact for this?
So from the program, we try to have like a neutral role in that kind of advice. For that reason, we prepared the guidelines that Jordi was mentioning before, where you can specifically look at the different bullet points and see if you fulfill some of them, or you are in one stage or another. If it's a general question, more about understanding the focus and what you can achieve within the program, there's no problem at all. You can ask us through reaching us through the email address, and we can try to address all those questions. But the thing which is important also to highlight here is that so the IP strategy is something that we value a lot in stage 2. Actually, it's one of the criteria, but it's not compulsory. So it's not compulsory to have an IP strategy to be able to present a project for stage 2. So it's not a core element to evaluate the project. For stage 3, it is. So actually, you must have an IP strategy. That doesn't mean that you must have a patent or a utility model or so on. So at least you must have a strategy. So I would go even looking beyond the IP rights that you have and the patent on the PCT, and I would focus more on the maturity of the project and what you need to get achieved in the program. Do you need to get support to establish and finalize proof of concept validation, or you are beyond that? You just need like further validation and get into more the business dimension of the project. If that's the case, then I would go to stage 2 instead of stage 1.
Question. Okay, great. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joana, for sharing. Please, Diego Magalles de Silva, could you ask your question?
Hello, Jordi. Hello, Alex. Nice to see you, and thank you for the presentation. So my first question is, projects on stage 3 are of 2 years or 3 years?
It's 2 years, Diego. There.
2 years. Okay.
Yeah. 2 years maximum.
Stage 3, 2 years.
In every stage is a maximum, so you can do it faster if it's possible.
Okay. Another question might be relevant to convince the project leaders to apply. On stage 2, is there still a travel grant besides the funding for them to have a support to go to the training program in Madrid and Barcelona?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, this is a 4,000 euro support for stage 2, and is 1,000 for stage 3 and stage 1 if they are interested to attend. This is not only for the training, but for any activity that we from La Caixa Foundation organize.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Diego. Controller Camarota, please. The floor is yours. Please go ahead with your question.
I think her audio is not working. She's writing something on the chat too.
Good morning.
Hello?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes.
Good morning.
Okay. I want to ask about the project leader, because in our situation, we would like to put a project leader outside or from the institution. Is that possible?
It's possible. So it's not compulsory to have a contractual relationship with the beneficiary institution. In that case, the only thing that we need is that there's some kind of link between that person and the institution, and the organization manager of the institution, when that person gives their approval to the application so that it can be submitted, agrees that that person is the correct one to lead the proposal for that institution. But there's no need that a specific person is hired or contracted by the beneficiary institution. It can be from another institution outside from that specific university or research center. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, you have any questions?
Or okay, we can move to the next one. Yeah.
Yeah, we can move. Yes, thank you, Consuelo. We can move now to Jose Izquierdo, please. Will you ask your question?
Hi, thank you for the presentation. My question is about the compatibility with another La Caixa proposal. I have already submitted a proposal for the health reserve call in the same aim but with different objectives. Is there any incompatibility to apply also for CaixaImpulse?
No, there's not. So obviously it's the same when you cannot use the funding for the same activities, but there's no incompatibility with any of our programs now.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Jose. Please, Nieves Ajay, could you ask the question?
Yes, hello.
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 Good morning.
I have two. The camera. No. I have two questions. One is if it's possible to have two PIs or two project leaders, a co-PI. And the second one is regarding if the product is already protected, at least in national phases, is it still eligible to go? But we need to do more validations. Is it still possible to go to phase 2?
The answer to the first question is that unfortunately it's not possible. We have only one role as project leader of the proposal. So there can be different PIs, principal investigators, involved in the proposal as project members, but we can only accept one person as project leader leading the project in the program. That person doesn't need to be a principal investigator. We recommend that that person is someone who can be committed to attending the training program, to organizing the different follow-up meetings that we are going to be having, preparing deliverables, and so on. The answer to the second question is that it's not a requirement. Actually, the only stage where where it's compulsory to have an IP strategy is stage 3.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, not a requirement, but I mean, if it's something that is not good to be already.
No. Actually, it's all the other way around. So if it's already protected, it can give more value to the proposal, and it's something that to highlight and that evaluators we can take into account when they're reviewing that information that it's provided. We have some cases, or we've had some cases with so many years in running the program, where sometimes some projects they come with a file patent, and then they realize in the program that they have to change some things, and they have to be some refiling of the patent and changing things. So the knowledge and the contact with different experts in the program also can give you like a broader view of things that can be protected and maybe you didn't think they were entitled to be protected, or even changes in current patents that you may be maintaining right now related to the asset. Okay, but it's not something that goes against the proposal.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you, Nieves. Please, Inés Amtezelan, it's your turn and you may ask your question.
Inés, you're muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Thank you for the presentation. So I have two quick questions. The first one, I think you just answered to it, but I'm not sure I understood the answer. So if we have two different project leaders, but it's the same PI, can we submit two proposals?
So I think we have not mentioned that. So if you have two different projects, it is not possible that they are led by the same investigator. So the same investigator can participate in the team of another project that is led by another project leader, but it's not possible that the same project leader is in two proposals. So it can be member of a team, but not
leaders.
But not leader. So it can be only leader of one proposal.
Okay, very clear. Thank you. And the other one is regarding eligible costs. So if a PhD will be part of a project but is already incorporated in the team, can we ask for cost for the salary of the PhD? If he's currently already a member of the team,
So any member of the team can be eligible here, but obviously you cannot ask for funding that is already in place with another source. So if it's something that you can that you can support in the economic justification of your project, it's okay. So there's no limitation for us to use the personal the budget for personal contracts, even if they are new contracts or they have been already in the project. But
Okay.
you need to justify that you are not using these hours for different fundings. So obviously, with any of the funds that you're receiving, that you cannot allocate the funding for the same activity or for the same contract in different ones. So there's the possibility that we audit your project, and it has to be clear how the funding is going. But any personnel that is in your project is eligible, although there's a limitation of 40% of personnel in this allocation.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Nes. Please, Joan Josep, please proceed with your question.
Hola, Santiago. Hello.
Yes, hello.
I have, thank you for the presentation. One question is the email address to contact you for any info is the one that you wrote down here?
That's right. That's right. That's the generic email address of the program for any question related to the application process or to the call itself.
Excellent. The other thing is, are you going to circulate, or you can circulate the presentation today?
Actually, we are not going to be sharing this presentation, but we are recording the entire session, including this questions and answers part of the session. And then we'll upload this to our website. So once you access the CaixaResearch.org, where you can find the information about the CaixaImpulse call, you can find the recording of this specific session where you have all the entire presentation plus these questions and answers.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Okay, I have also the question because we don't know how to allocate in stage 2 or 3. That's why I'm telling you to send an email to get some kind of advice, general advice, to know where we should fit our project in stage 2 or 3. We are in the middle.
Okay.
And then I can use this email address, no?
Yes, yes. We would recommend you first to look at the guidelines in the application form where you have this different information about where your project fits better depending on the stage. But if you have any generic question related to these stages and what's needed to be achieved in the program for each stage, you can ask us through this email address and we'll try to help you out.
Yeah, thank you so much.
No problem.
Thank you, Julian. Now I will read the questions of Consuelo for his audio problem. Consuelo wants to know, are only nonprofit institutions of Spain, Portugal eligible for grant? Are public research centers excluded?
So I don't know if I understand properly the question, but any non-for-profit included public institutions from Spain and Portugal are eligible. Yeah, please.
And the second question of Consuelo, we want to apply to cover patent costs, validation tests, EPO applications, as we already passed the patentability study with a Spanish consulting service and develop a business plan for potential biomarkers related to a somatic DSD. Does this project align with stage 2? Do we already need to identify a firm to develop the ELISA kits?
Well, this is a kind of question that we have been having in previous questions. So probably we have not enough information to decide, and we again keep neutral about recommending if the project is eligible for stage 2 or 3. So the level of information that is providing probably would be not enough to answer, and we tend not to do so. So again, I would suggest to read the guidelines, taking all the considerations that we have been providing in this session, about the IPR strategy requirements in each state, and if she has more questions that can be addressed in general terms from our rules for participation, we can answer that by email.
Thank you, Consuelo. Please, Ignacio Porras, the floor is yours. Please go ahead with your question.
Hello, and thank you very much for this great program and for the very clear and useful presentation. My question is very short. Can a person working in a company but has some relationship with the institution that is applying for a project can be part of the team? I mean, as a consultant, for example, that we can pay for him travel cost, or is it possible?
Yes. Yes, any team members, they don't need to be contracted by the beneficiary institution. They can be contracted by other companies or by other external entities. And of course, they are entitled to be involved in the activities, and the grant could cover for the expenses related to those activities. There wouldn't be any problem at all.
Okay, thank you very much. And just a more question is, when it's, maybe I missed it, when is expected to sign the agreements for the selected projects?
So we'll try to communicate the results by mid-July, a bit earlier if we can, but more or less by beginning mid-July. So after that, we start a process of legal review with your institution. Basically, it's what our legal department requires to be able to sign the project agreement with your institution. That takes between a few days or a few weeks. And right after that, we'll prepare a draft of the signing for the project agreement, and we'll start the signing process. So that means that if the legal review goes smoothly and fast, by end of July, we could have a draft of the agreement to start working on the signing and the negotiation of different parts of the agreement, depending on the stage. But
Yeah.
we would see that a specific time frame. So,
Okay.
and communicating the results by beginning mid-July, by the end of July, having some draft of the agreement if we have performed all the legal review that it's required by our legal department.
So it can be expected that by September would be, yeah, all finished, yeah.
So we can be more certain if we say September, because then we'll have more time for this legal review to happen, and then we'll sometimes, when we prepare the draft of the project agreement, there's like kind of an iteration between the entity and La Caixa Foundation for some specific clauses, or some parts of the agreement, depending on the stage. So that can take us some time. But from our side, we try to be quite straightforward with a signing procedure. So in a matter of days or a couple of weeks, we can have everything signed from our end.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Ignacio. Miguel Atencia, please, it's your turn and you may ask your question.
Thank you. I have two questions. One is about the classification, because I see in the form that there are two different questions. One is the area and sub-area, and then it asks the option that best fits. So we have a technological application to a medical specialty, but we are essentially technologists. So is it reasonable to say in the area the medical specialty, and then in the option to put into mathematical or technological development? I don't know if this is what these questions mean.
So if I understand properly, so you are talking about the business area and then the thematic and the subthematic area. So going more to the technical thing. So I mean, just for you to understand, what we really need is the information of the business area, because if you are preselected, we will be sending your project to a specific panel. We normally divide the projects into therapeutics from one side and medtech, that would be digital health, diagnostics, and medtech in the other one. So we need you to decide what is the main area of business of the product that you can develop. But then in the more scientific options, we need to understand what kind of technology or scientific knowledge are you dealing with just to select the reviewers that are experts in this field.
Okay, thank you. And the other question is about, just to be sure, is there any limitation on nationality of partners? And they may be from outside the European Union.
Yeah, there's no problem. So the only limitations that we have been addressing is how are they linked to the institutions that are participating. So in case of the project leader, as Alex was mentioned, we really only need the acceptance of the institutions to be participant there. And obviously we need the host institution, the applicant institution, to be able to pay to this member of the team if it's required to pay a salary to them. So the other things, so we have no limitations by nationality.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Miguel. Maria Jo Ramallo, please present with your question.
Good morning. First, I'd like to thank you for this session. I have just a small question. Do you have an idea on the numbers of how much projects will be funded in each stage?
So we don't have proper numbers, but we have a limitation of budget. Okay. So more or less, the distribution of budget will be to cover around 15 projects for stage 1, 12 okay. for stage 2, and between 1 and 3 for stage 3.
Okay.
Okay. But these are numbers related to budget. If we have, for example, less projects from stage 2, then that budget can be rearranged among the rest of the stages, and maybe we can have some more projects from stage 1. So it's more a limitation of budget, not so much on numbers of projects. But this is the idea, approximately.
Okay, thank you very much.
No problem.
Thank you very much, Maria. Please, Nicolas Natal, could you ask your question? Please, Nicolas Natal, it's here.
Yeah, but yes, I'm here, but I'm trying to make it work. I'm sorry.
Okay. No problem.
I don't know if you can hear me now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Well, thank you very much for the webinar. This was very interesting and clarifying. I have a small question regarding funding. When you described in slide 14 the financial return of the grant in stage 2 or 3, I was wondering a bit about what were the reasoning behind that, or what would be the reasons governing that decision. If you could go a bit deeper on that, that would be very nice.
Okay, so this is just a strategic decision from the Caixa Foundation. What we are looking here is to have a return of funding to invest it again in the same program. So, and if you look at the rules for participation and the terms that are defining success of the project, you'll see that these are for really success of projects. So we will need that the institution that has been awarded and receiving the funding is receiving through royalties or lump sums, or even by acquisition of the spin-off, at least 5 times of the amount received to totally execute this funding return. So just to provide you some hints on how are we applying that. So we are just starting now, after 12 editions, to have some returns from the project. So we are really waiting for the institution to receive an important amount of money. We are not trying to get all the returns that the institution can have, but when this part of the money is just a part, a non-important part of the funding that is receiving the institution, we ask for this return to reinvest it in our program.
Okay, great. That was my doubt. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicolas. Please, Sebastián Escobar, it's your turn. Will you ask your question, please?
Oh, wait. I don't know why the camera isn't going, but can I only speak?
Yes.
We are three computer engineering students, and the problem is we are not related with a certain institution, for example, the university. We can apply with no relation with an institution, or we are obligated to have, for example, a teacher from the university or a relation with the university to apply.
As long as the university agrees with that, that's not a problem for us. It's true that sometimes there are some institutions that they require that the person applying for this kind of grants has to be a principal investigator or a staff scientist at least. But there are other institutions that they have total freedom to accept other members that are collaborating in projects in their research groups. And in our case, we don't have any limitation for that. And of course, if the organization agrees with that situation, and the organization manager of the organization approves the proposal led by you or but any of these persons in these people in this situation, and it's fine for us.
Okay, so we need to talk with the university for an agreement with them, not only ours, for example.
Sorry, could you repeat the question?
We need to talk with the university from this foundation, CaixaBank Foundation, the program. We need to talk with them and told them about the program and get an agreement from them. Okay.
Well, not so much getting an agreement. That's something internal that you have to negotiate with them. But from our end, what we need is that the first, that for us the term of beneficiary is not a physical person. For us, beneficiary is an institution or an entity. So for us, the beneficiary of the grant is the university that you are mentioning. So what we need is that at least the university or some representative of the university, they agree and they have knowledge that a person outside the university is presenting this proposal and is leading this proposal in the program. And as Jordi was mentioning, and as I said before, so an organization manager of the entity, once the proposal is set up and it's ready for submission in the application platform, a member of the university, organization manager, with enough rights to act on behalf of the university, has to get into the platform, into the project, and has to tick an approval consentment, agreeing that agrees with everything that is included in the proposal, including the project leader that is proposed to lead this proposal in the program.
Okay, perfect. Now it's clear. Thanks.
No problem.
Thank you very much. Please, Marco Araujo, proceed with the question.
Well, I just wanted to ask, I think Alex already told, but I didn't get very well. Do we need to have a patent for stage 3, or can we present only the IP strategy? What is the best option?
Yeah, no, for stage 3, you need to have a clear IPR strategy. So we cannot say that you need a patent because there's some technologies that are not protectable by patent. So I have to say the majority of technologies that we have are can be protected by patent. But if the case is that I don't know about your project, but if the case is that you are working with a technology that cannot be protected by patent, you need to have a clear protection strategy. So if it's keeping it secret and you're keeping your data in a private server or whatever, that can demonstrate in front of the reviewers that you have the control of your technology.
Okay, and another question was about the number of projects. I think it was already answered. It was 1 to 3 for stage 3, right? Okay, and 12 for stage 2.
Yes.
Around, more or less. Okay, thank you very much.
Welcome.
Thank you very much, Marco. This is the last raised hand. Does anyone have any question?
So Christina, while we wait, I don't see more raised hands. I just want to take this advantage of this moment just to share a couple of points. The first one, and it's related to some of the questions before. So if you have different projects coming from the same research group, those projects are eligible. Okay. So the only thing is, as Jordi was mentioning before, so we need that they are led by different team members coming from that research group. But 2 projects or more projects coming from the research group, they are eligible for the same edition. That's not a problem at all. So we just need that the person, the project leader, is different. And another thing that I would like to highlight is that there are like some budget limitations that we didn't mention in the presentation, but you have them detailed in the rules of participation. For example, for salaries, there's a limitation of 40% of the total grant. Okay, so you can pay for salaries, as Jordi and myself have been explaining, but as a maximum amount of 40% of the total grant. And we also accept overheads for the research institutions, in the grant, but only for stage 2 and 3. Okay, overheads are not eligible for stage 1, only for stage 2 and 3, and the limit is 10% of the total grant. Okay, so with this, please, Christina, give you the floor.
Yes, we have another question from Joan and Judith. Please proceed with the question.
Hello, maybe repetitive. I don't know if I understood. How many projects of each stage will be can be selected?
So as Alex was mentioned, there's not a defined number per stage. So we only have the limitation of a total budget and the quality of the projects in each stage. Because we are entitled to redistribute this budget from one stage to another, looking at the result we have. But a general guide, just taking as a reference previous editions, it's been around 15 in stage 1, around 12 in stage 2, and from 1 to 3 in stage 3.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you very much. So this is the last question. Does anyone have any question? No? So there are no more questions. We will conclude the session here. Thank you very much for your attention and participation. If later you have any more questions, you can consult the call website and send your questions via the email address, and which is displayed in a few minutes on the screen and also available in the chat. So goodbye and thank you for joining us today.